Okay, so for today's lesson, we are going to take the percent proportion and apply it to some real world context. So before we do that, as we take notes, these are our notes. They should be in your spiral. So open your spiral and get your pencil. I do not want you to copy the word problems, but I do want you to copy what I write. So just make sure you are focusing. You might need to pause the video for a minute to write these down, but that will help our learning. So let's first review the percent proportion. The percent proportion tells us that the whole ratio is equivalent or equal to the percent over 100. We often can figure out the part by looking for the word is, and the whole by looking for the word of. So let's read our scenario. Our scenario tells us that a class of 200 students voted for class president. 70% voted for Jane. How many votes did she get? So I'm going to start here with this 70% because that stands out to me. It makes me, I see that will be my percent. I'm going to put it over here. 70% is the same as 70 over 100. And then it says a class of 200 students voted for class president. So they're telling me that we have 200 students total. And the question we're trying to find out, the missing part is how many votes did Jane get? Okay, so we're missing our part and 200 is our whole class, 200 students, and how many of those students voted for Jane. So we're going to solve this just like we did yesterday. We're going to do our cross products. I'm going to actually draw a line down the middle. So on one side, I have 200 times 70. And I'm going to do the other cross products on the other side. So I have 100 times X. And then I'm going to simplify using my calculator. Make sure you have your calculator. 200 times 70 is 14,000 equals 100X. Now I'm going to undo that by dividing by 100. And if I divide one side by 100, I have to divide the other side by 100. And so we end up with 140 equals X. And since this is a word problem, I'm going to do a word answer. So how many votes did she get? I'm just going to answer that question right there. She got 140 votes. So we used the percent proportion and applied it to this real world situation. Let's take a look at another example. In this second example, it says 12% of the students in Miss Gauker's advanced art class participate in some type of after-school program. 9 students have participated. So how many students are in her advanced art classes? So we want the part to the whole, and that's going to be equal to the percent over 100. So first step is to figure out what we've got. So we have this 12%. I am going to put that in the percent because 12% is the same as 12 out of 100. So if I read, some are participating, these kids are participating in the after school program. We have 9 students that participated. So then how many are in all of her art classes? 9 is the part, that's the part that participated, the 12%, and we don't know how many are in her art classes. That's what we're trying to find out. So the setup of these problems is probably going to be the trickiest part, and you just need to really read and think about it. Sometimes the word is and they'll be there, sometimes they won't. So you just need to do the best you can to figure it out and see if your answer makes sense. So let's start our cross multiply. I'm going to first divide my equation into 2 sides. Then I'm going to say 12 times X equals in the middle 9 times 100. So 12X equals 900. Now I have a one-step equation. 12 is attached to X by multiplication. So to undo that, I'm going to divide by 12. And again, use your calculators. And my answer is X equals 75. So now I'm going to go back up. I'm going to answer my question. The question, how many students are in Miss Gauker's advanced art classes? there are 75 students in her art classes. So we have to set up, solve, and then write our answer as a sentence. Okay, one more before we start practicing on your own. Here we go. Last one. Again, do not write the question. We're just going to write what I write. So Elijah, an electrician, worked 8 months out of the year. What percent of the year did he work? So we have the part, is, the part, to the whole. So I noticed that right away that it said what percent, because I'm kind of looking for that. To me, that's the easiest to find. So that tells me we don't know. They're asking me what percent. So my X is going to go in the percent part. Now, he worked 8 months out of the whole year, and the whole year is 12 months. So the whole year is my total, and the amount he worked is the 8. And so we want to find out what percent did he work if he worked 8 months. Now that we have it set up, we're going to do our cross multiplying. Draw my line down the middle. So I have 12 times X, and it doesn't matter which side. Remember, it doesn't matter which side you put it on. The 8 times 100 could be on the other side. That would be okay. It doesn't matter. We have 12X equals 800. And now I have 12 times X, so I have to do the opposite in order to eliminate it. So divided by 12, divided by 12, and X equals use your calculators. You end up with 66 point, and then it's a repeating decimal. So repeating sixes. So we're just going to round that to 7, or you can say 67. So that means that he worked 67% of the year. I'm going to go ahead and write that sentence answer. He worked, you can, when you round to the nearest tenth, 66.7% of the year. So today we learned about applying the percent proportion to some word problems, and now you're going to do a little bit of practice.